here and introduce yourself and Malcolm, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys again, and hi everyone else. Welcome back to another Discover session. I think there was so much to talk about the Discover product that we had to do a part 2 of that. And I'm Sumith. I'm a PM for CDP. Recently, I used to be product manager for XP before a long journey with Sitecore. And with me today, we brought Malcolm here, and he's going to talk about the AI and machine learning behind Discover and the recommendation engine. So he's our data science and AI PM working with Sitecore. And I think he will introduce when I pass on after a few slides. So before we move to the real content, just a recap from the people who missed the previous sessions or who are new to the platform, just a few slides on that. You can always watch that on the YouTube channel, the recording from previous session. But what I mentioned last time is basically the Discover platform should be considered as a system of intelligence. And you can bring anything. Yeah, so it is built on top of any digital commerce platform or the cloud. You can use Shopify, you can use Adobe, Magento, you can use any other platform, and then Discover will work with that. We also talked about CEC, Customer Engagement Console, and the platform capabilities. Yeah, so this were the different platform capabilities that we discussed last time. So if you see, the recommendation and search technology is where we will go deeper this time, and how AI will help our customers to do I would say identifying the shopper's intent and recommend products accordingly. Yeah. Then we have other capabilities like buy online, pay in store, fulfillment capability, B2B style, time product availability. We also do a lot of tracking and analytics behind the scenes that we saw last time. We also then have a context and rule engine that I think Malcolm will tease a little bit today, and then you can do A/B and multivariate testing with the platform. So that's in short the platform itself and the capabilities. Yeah. I just wanted to reiterate this one. Similar concept to people who have worked in the space of Sitecore, where we build pages or experiences and then you use widgets. So there are in Discover, we call them experiences. So you have experiences for previous search, full page search, landing, category, etc., etc. And then for them, what you do is basically you actually use a different type of widgets. Yeah, so you can actually have a home page with a recommendation widget. And then within the platform, CEC, you generate the URL. Yeah, and then you can use recipes that we look into today, how you can actually drive that. So these are different types of experiences that you can use within the Discover platform. So as an example, you have the search experience. And then, as I said, we have the search widget, which could be used as a previous search widget on your homepage, where you are using it for auto completion, yeah, or visual or text category suggestions. In here, you can actually look for something that is a real product or something that could be a category that a product can belong to. And that's all out of the box. So just using this as a component on a page, which is a previous search experience. Or you can build a full page experience that is where you have all the facets available, and the sorting, filtering, and the paging is out of the box available. So just use this as a page. Now, what this page is a bit more contextual aware. So it is aware to what people are searching on the website, or someone came to the website, search for a ring. And the facets also changes. Yeah, so if you have products that are shoes, and I don't know why would you have shoes within a jewelry store, but let's say that you also have products that are shoes. So in here we are showing mostly rings, which means the facets are related to the products that is visible in the search result. Then I also wanted to show you what else you can do. So you got homepage. Homepage, you can actually show some recommendations. So this is a recommendation component that you can use again out of the box. We have null search recommendations or no search, but still you would like to recommend something, saying, okay, the thing that you're looking for doesn't exist or is not in our catalog, but you could be interested in these, which are fuzzy match. Then you have product detail page recommendation. So this is another experience that you can use, which is a recommendation experience. And then you're using a recommendation widget onto these pages that are available for you. Okay, so another example here is basically customer also viewed this and the similar item as recommendation for the product that is contextually seen when you're searching for this particular, or when you are on this particular page. So this is a product listing page where you're listing this product, and then based on that, you're actually doing different customer viewed this and the items that are similar to this. Yep. So I just wanted to touch base on the workbench, which I showed last time during the demo. That is our CEC control. So what you can do is you can actually build a page. The page will have widgets, and widget will have rules. Yep. So I can have rules, not will have. Yeah. So you're applying this principle, and then you can actually have different variation of that page, and then you can also have different widget variation, and all of that can be driven by rules. Yeah, so think of variations as different version of the page, and then you can also say, okay, I can schedule this particular variation on this day, so you can actually do A/B test. Yeah, using two variation. And then we have within CEC, our workbench, a different dashboard where you can see how one variant actually performed against another. Yep. And all of that, as I think if you go back to the previous one, you can see we use the reflection ID to identify the widget, and then the URL is generated automatically within CEC. Yeah, so you basically use reflection ID to identify these. Yep. As I said, let me just, so in this case, this is a product listing page, yeah, and then we have a scope, which is categories. This we build an initial default variation, which is in this case kids, and then the merchandiser can define, what can you boost and what can you hide, yeah, and then which category these particular search product listing page will list the product for, yeah. And then you can also have widget level rules, yeah, and then global level rules, which is basically what you definitely want to see, yeah. And then the way it is being executed is based on the rank, yeah. So that's how I think I showed a demo of memory form shoes last time, where we actually showed shoes based on search criteria, and then as a merchandiser, you can go in and vary or boost or apply the rules that I just showed, yeah, to the end user. So the whole control is with the merchandiser, what they want to show, which products they want to boost, and all of that can be done using the workbench. The main topic I wanted to touch today, which will lead towards what Malcolm is going to talk about, is how reflection search actually work. So let's say that you search for a shoe, you have 100 results of that, and it's basically based on the product attribute, which is shoes, and anything else. Let's say a shoe, men's shoe. Yeah, so that's how we got these results. So attributes and how much emphasis is placed on each attribute. So men's and shoes, so not like any shoes. Yeah. So that's the relevance. And then the next thing is basically the ranking, which is what merchandisers can decide, like, which product to boost, which product to bury, what are the KPIs. So I would like to sell Nike shoes. So that's why that's my KPI for that particular product. So I would like to push it up, and how much emphasis should be placed on these KPIs, and these are the rankings that you can apply on top. The next thing is basically, I said it, Discover as a platform is about intent of a particular user. So it emphasizes on the premise of what the current shopper purchase intent is. So proprietary personalization algorithm comes into play, where we actually look into browsing history, affinities, boost product ranking per visitor according to what they are tend to buy. And the last bit is basically the rules, which I mentioned. So the layer on top is the rules, where you can have global results, one rule applied for everything, triggered by visitor type or which site. Then you can pin. So these are some items that could be pinned, bury, or blacklisted. So please don't show it. And then widget type settings for the facets and personalization. And the final thing is basically the sorting option. So all of those 4 things actually lead to a page like this that you can either use on the previous search or on the search result itself. So that's how reflection works. So I will now pass on to a bit more demo and how AI drives that recommendation. So Malcolm, if you're there, could you take over?
I am. Could you drive the slides though? Would you mind doing that?
Okay. I haven't downloaded this, Malcolm. So I'm not sure whether I can present from here.
Lead on. It should lead on from. It should lead on from where you finished off, because I just added. Yes. Okay. So Malcolm Lightbody. I'm look after aspects of AI within Sitecore in various different parts of the product portfolio. Today we're talking about Discover, and I'm talking mostly about the AI-driven recommendations that Sumith has just been alluding to. Actually, Sumith has done a great job, because I think you've cut the number of slides I need to talk through by about 50%, which is really great, because we're a bit time constrained, and I'd rather show rather than tell anyway. So we'll go through a couple, because I just wanted to first of all just talk about where AI, applied AI, I call it, is used in Discover. AI is one of these blanket terms, and to some people it can mean algorithms, and to others, and we prefer to think of it as algorithms that actually do something useful. So there's kind of like 3 areas or aspects of Discover's like process flow pipeline where AI has an impact. So first of all is like the data ingestion. So basically I've got a picture and a couple of slides. We won't need to go to that just yet, but like the points of integration or data integration between Sitecore and an organization are firstly through catalogs, product catalogs. So we ingest that data, and like we add a lot of structure to the data. We parse product descriptions, images of products, and so on, and add features to the underlying data. And these features that we extract or create, some of which are using AI algorithms to do that, are used to tag products and index products, which obviously enables things like search. We also ingest sales data, for example, so like back office data that's been captured, so how much of this product sold and so on. We also ingest user behavior. There are beacons that are placed on sites that then pass this behavior back to us. We capture that, and in our AI, we're putting all those different sources of information together to produce recommendations. So search is one of the areas where that AI and AI index data is obviously being used, because we create smart indexes to allow users to discover, end users, visitors to your site to discover products. The other big area is personalization and recommendations. And when I said that, actually, you go on a slide, Sumith. Could you just advance a slide, please? Yeah, actually, no, go one further. This will build a bit. If you could just go to the next, yeah, this one, yes. So when we run the data ingestion service, we're doing all of that, extracting features from products, but we're also collating that with the sales data and the visitor behavior, and we generate a bunch of different data sets based around products and their attributes, and like how often they've been viewed, how much revenue have they generated. We create a whole different set of different data sets that are used to base our recommendations off. As I say, I'm going to show more than talk in this. So in a minute, I'm going to jump to the actual software and show you what these data sets look like, and you'll see how these get used to generate recommendations. If you could just carry on another one, Sumith. So I'll tell you what, in the interest of time, I'll talk a little bit about the recipes first. Normally I'd have done the dataset demo and then come back to the slides, but let's just do all of this. Sumith, you've talked about recommendations. We all know what recommendations look like, where they, how people experience them on, or the many different ways that people experience them on a website. So how do recommendations work within Discover? Well, fundamental to it are these data sets I talked about that I'll show you in a minute. For a particular product, for example, they will come up with an initial, it's a bit like the search that Sumith described just now. You have an initial set of, here's a bunch, given this product or these products someone's looked at or added to their cart, and you want to make recommendations to them. Here's an initial set of, I don't know, 100, 50, 100 items, and they're in some order based on the AI generated scores. But from a business perspective, you might not want to show them in that order. You may have some other way you want to rank products. So because we're capturing all of the performance data around products, we allow the user to then say, okay, out of this initial set of recommendations, we want to re-rank those based on, I don't know, click-through rate or something like that. One of the metrics we capture and calculate. And then other business logic that you might want to apply to that initial set, you might want to filter some products out because you don't want to sell them or promote them for various business reasons. And then finally, you might want to say, well, actually, I want to take into account the sort of person who's actually looking at that product right now and see what it is they might like based on what similar users to them have looked at in the past or based on their history. And then there's a final layer that goes on top of that. So miss the next slide, which is basically rules that you can imply on top. So you could have rules like don't show anything where the inventory level is less than 15 units, that sort of thing. Now these 5 steps in other products, you might have to do a lot of manual effort to combine all of those different things, like the initial recommendation data sets and all those post-processing actions like the ranking, the filtering, and the rules and personalization, so on. What we've done in Discover is to bring that all together, and they're encapsulated in something we call recipes. And if you go on to the next slide, a recipe is basically to create a recipe, we have basically a visual editor where you connect blocks that represent different things, and I'll show those in a minute. But the reason why we wanted to create this recipe service, if you like, is because with recommendations, you look at all the different recommendation use case, and there's kind of like a long tail. There's a few recommendation use cases that come up very frequently, but then we also want to support some of those more exotic or rarer use cases, and we wanted to do this in a way that we could support out of the box using product without requiring lots of coding and manual intervention. So we came up with this concept of recipes and building blocks for recipes, which are all very visual. And there's out of the box, there's like dozens, if not hundreds of recipes, but they're flexible in that you can take a recipe as a starting point and then you can adjust it, or you can create your own recipe. So, you know, like if you're implementing on behalf of someone and they have a particular use case and it's not covered by one of the recipes, there's capabilities within recipes to create your own, to match that use case. So another slide, Thomas, let's, yeah. So this is what a recipe looks like. It's made up of visual components, and there's different classes of object or visual that you can drop onto a recipe. And you read a recipe from top to bottom and from left to right. So usually a recipe starts with data sources. So you want to access that initial set of recommendations. Those data sets that I mentioned are generated when, you know, a product a cataloging, product list ingestion and data ingestion. And then you might have a couple of different data sources you want to combine in a particular way. You may have a set of data that represents, you know, like similar items to the one that's being viewed based on, I don't know, color, for example. And you might also want to combine that with the top N list of products. So what are the top N products by sales? Because, you know, if there aren't enough similar items based on say, color or whatever, and you want to have 10 recommendations, you're only generating 5 that way, then you might want to backfill with another type of data, in this case, you know, like top end suggestions. The next layer in this is, after data sources, is combining the data sets. And then in this particular recipe, the next step down is some personalization. We're using collaborative filtering to do the personalization. And finally, we want to we've got another combine here. So what I was talking about now, we've got a couple of algorithm generated data sets. And then right at the end, we're backfilling with like a top end product if we don't come up with enough through the left-hand branch. I'm aware that I'm talking fast and that we're short on time. So I think what I'd like to do now is I'll share my screen, and we will then go on and do I'll do a quick demo. So let me just share my screen. Desktop one, I think. Sorry, I just need to allow Zoom to access this. Sorry, this is the first time I've used Zoom on this laptop. And so I need to allow Zoom to access the screen. It's annoying that I have to do this.
Maulik, can you give access?
Be able to access this.
No, it's not access from your point of view, it's access from my point of view. I need to, Apple has a,
do you see a green share screen button on the bottom?
That's not the issue. The issue is that when you're using a Mac, you need to explicitly grant a Zoom access to screen for screen recording and so on. So what I've just done that. Now, of course, I'm going to have to leave the meeting and rejoin for that to be enabled. So just give me a minute and I'll rejoin.
Okay. So yeah, he's on
meanwhile,
yep.
Yeah, meanwhile, anyone has any questions, anything else, or anything just as a discussion point?
Yeah, so Sumit, I was thinking, like, you know, there is this other platform which is CDP, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have Discover. I was just wondering, like, you know, if merging them together will bring a like, you know, more advantage or something that it can provide more than Discover. So
Yeah,
okay.
so independently they all are so all the products that from XM to CDP to AutoCloud to Discover and Send, yeah, all of them are literally like building blocks, like in a piece of a puzzle. So if Discover can work independently, it definitely can work with CDP. and then you use data ingestion with CDP and Discover. So, so there is a need for integration, but there's not a need that you have to do yourself. Yeah, it just works. That's my 5 cents on that. Okay, I'll hand it back to Malcolm.
Yes, sorry about that. It's a new but very old Mac that I've got because my other one broke, so I hadn't used Zoom before, so I had to go through that, granting access. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to show you the data sets that I talked about that are generated automatically, both on ingestion every sort of periodically every few hours, and then I'm going to show you recipes and how those data sets are used in recipes. So this is what Discover looks like. This is the home screen. You navigate down here on the left-hand side. There's a whole bunch of different things you can do. There is actually a whole set of analytics we have within Discover that might be a topic, a nice topic for a future meeting. The sort of analytics we provide out of the box, covers things like how well the site and Discover is working for you, product performance, buy online, pick up in store, how that's doing. We've got, as Sumith said earlier on, we've got the ability to do testings. This is where you go to review results, email campaigns, monitoring data feeds and data quality and so on. So there's a lot in there, and it's far too much to cover now, and might be useful or interesting for a future meeting. So if I navigate here to the catalog and I go into products, this is a customer. It's a live customer, and this is all of their products. This is their product list, the product catalog. So all of their products are on here. Now the interesting thing here is the data sets. If I click on data sets, what we've got now is these are the top products by a couple of different dimensions. So for this particular retailer, this is the top product by views on a website site. So you can see a whole bunch of different products, some of the information about them and so on. And I can change that top end to be like top views, top revenue, top orders. So if I click by revenue, you'll find the top product by revenue is this thing here. Now, if I click on that specific product, so if I wanted to do a recommendation, if I wanted to do some very basic recommendations, and I wanted to just say recommend in a slot on a page, I just want to show the top end products, today or this week or in the last month. That's a very basic way of doing recommendations. So all of these data sets are generated automatically for you to use. And the use cases we can cover are that range from that very simple, like just show me the top viewed product, or recommend to people the top viewed products or the top bought products, in the last time period, to the more complex. And to show you the more complex, I'll just click on one of these products, because I'm now working within a context. So I'm assuming that the user on the website is viewing a specific product, and I'm now going to show you the sorts of recommendation data sets that would be generated for someone who is viewing that product. So again, I go along to the data sets. This is the information about that specific product, so a lot of stuff about them. If I go into data sets, I'm going to see all of the data sets, so all the other products that would be recommended to someone who's viewed this or viewing this product. So you can see here there's 50 different products, and they kind of make sense. And there's a whole load of ways in which I can show products based on that product that someone's viewing, and those and all of these data sets are generated for you automatically. So I can look at all of the products that were co-viewed when someone viewed this product. What were the products were most co-viewed with this particular product? And you can see these. So you could make a recommendation using this data set based on, I want to show people products that were co-viewed with this product. I could say I want to look at add to cart products. So these are the products that are most often added to the cart along with this product. Then things get more interesting when I start looking at similar products, because similar can mean a whole bunch of different things. It could mean that the default is basically similar related to like product behavior. I can say similar based on the textual description of the product. I could say similar based on color, for example. So here, if I say I want to recommend to people products that are similarly colored to the one they're looking at, this is the data set that's generated for this product, and you see it does a pretty good job. It's recognizing black. I could say I want to show products that are similar visually to this product. So I could say I would, let me see, where is it? Oh, here we go, visually similar products. So it's going to pick up that it's not similarly colored now. It's saying, well, this is a blouse sort of thing. So it's showing things that are similar. All of that has been done by extracting features. This is where the AI comes in, because it's extracting features from all of the products that are in the catalog, and it's labeling those features, and it's then learning what those features are and translating them. So when you look at this, it's extracting the features of this product and it's saying, right, find things that have similar features to that one and use those as part of my recommendation. So those are all the data sets that are generated and automatically for you. Now you use those data sets when you're making recommendations. And recommendations within Discover are based in widgets. So we have widgets for recommendations, and a widget lives on a page. So you have a page within Discover, and so you could have a product listing page, and in that product listing page, you can say, I want to create a widget, and that widget will contain a recommendations recipe. That range of recommendations recipe is, as I said, there's a whole bunch of out-of-the-box recipes, and they're all visually represented, and you can take an out-of-the-box one. You can use it as is, or you can modify it, or you can even create your own. So let's now look at recipes themselves. So if I go and find the merchandising widgets, why am I doing this? I was actually, forget that. Let's sit a bit shorter time. I'm just going to look at recipes, and you'll see here we've got, I don't want to count how many recipes there are, but there are lots and lots of recipes. The out of the box ones, we try and give sensible sounding names so people can get an idea from the name of them what they do. So this one here is called the neural co-add to cart. So neural implies there's some AI associated with it. Co-add to cart. So it's something to do with making recommendations from products that were added to recommendations for a product based on other products that were added to the cart at the same time as that product. So if I click on it, got the wrong one. Sorry, let me just go back and this is the one I want. Yeah, okay. So when you open a recipe, you can see that there's a diagram. And this you can edit. And the other thing to note is that there's this automatically generated text. When you create a recipe, what's really helpful for like the for maintaining and knowing what the recipes do is there's automatically generated text that describes what that recipe does. So if I go in and edit this is the one that I showed in the slides. So what it's doing, you can see within recipes, you've got these visual objects, and those visual objects are grouped into categories or classes. So you've got a whole bunch of icons that are related to those data sources I talked about. There's a bunch, there's 3 different icons that relate to different ways of personalizing recommendations. There's 4 different ways of ranking the recommendations after that initial list. We have some filtering options and ways of combining data sources and data sets to produce a final output. So what this is doing is you can edit. I can just drag and drop these onto the onto the canvas, and I can then link them up. I'm not going to do anything with this because there's a live recipe that's actually being used. I'll delete all of this and cancel any changes when I exit. But you know, if I look at what this item does, it's basically going to find products that are similar. I'm actually not quite sure how this one works. Oh, there's an yes. So we're going to try and find products. So assuming we look at the user is looking, the end user is looking at a product, we're going to find products that have some sort of affinity with this, and we can basically here we can define what we mean by affinity. So we could say similar brand, similar category, similar color, similar size, and so on. I'll get rid of this data source. Yes. So here what we're doing is in the actual recipe is we're bringing in related products, and this is where we're using those data sets I talked to. So I talked about at the start or showed earlier on. So here we've got the co-added to cart items, and what we're doing is we're saying for this product, what other products were co-added to the cart? One of the interesting things to me anyway is that there's within the data source there's this merging algorithm, and when I first looked at this I thought, hang on, this is a data source, why are we merging anything here? What that refers to is, suppose what I've described so far makes sense if someone's looking at just one product or added one product to their cart, but what if they've added 3 products to their cart, or they viewed 3 products? This is about how we would then take 3 different product affinity data sets and combine them, whether we're doing it like top row from one, top row with the next, top row from the third, and then so on, or whether doing like 10 from this one, then 10 from that one, and then 10 from that one, and so on. And what we've got 2 different data sources here, we're merging them together, and then we've got a new from these 2 data sets, we've got a candidate set of things we could recommend. What we're doing here is if you remember the steps to personalize, the sort of post-processing steps, we're then re-ranking that list based on the personal attributes of the user who's viewing the product and you want to make a recommendation to. And in this specific case, we're saying, right, suppose we've got to this stage, we want to, you know, our slot's got 10, we've got 10 places in our slot to show product images for the recommendation. Suppose the AI side has only come back with 5 or 6, and we still want to show 10. Well, we've got this other data source here, which is the top end product. So we're just saying, well, okay, if we've got 6 from the AI side, let's then backfill the last 4 from just a simple top end product source. And then this is basically what's going to be returned. And here's actually the website from the actual customer. And this particular recipe is generating content for this "You May Also Love" slot here on the product listing page. So someone's looked at a particular product, and then down here, Discover is generating, using the recipe, these recommendations. And if I click on another one of those products, it's going to then show me that product. But again, I'll have another set of recommendations. And one thing I didn't talk about is, it's too late now. Okay, I won't show that. But within Discover, we also have tools for to help you understand what the recommendation's doing. So you can, you know, if you go to the website yourself and you find out what your user ID is, you can paste that in here, and you can monitor, you can see, so you can actually see what's being triggered as you browse around the website. So I can understand what's being triggered as I go to this page here. In a minute or so, yeah, there you go. This is what was just triggered when I, as a user, went to the website, clicked on a product, and within, sorry, I've just done something stupid. Because I've got the toolbar for zoom up at the top, which is kind of annoying. And get there. So I could see that, you know, when I'm monitoring what Discover's actually doing. Okay, Sumith, I'm going to stop sharing my my screen. if you could just go, because I finished in what I want to show. If you could just go to the slide, because I've got one more slide I just wanted to conclude on.
Sure. Yeah, I'm just jumping onto that. So that is the screen. Sure. Can you see again?
Yes. So this is basically, I just wanted to summarize everything. And it's been very rushed, but I hope that you get the impression that there's some pretty sophisticated AI and data science in the platform. There's actually it's actually embedded and it's applied right at the start when the data is being ingested into the system, during interactions while visitor behavior is being captured, and also, you know, like there's a lot of you know, and it's because Discover focuses more on the experience rather than the channel. You know, it's very easy to build these omni-channel recommendation experiences. And important is that, you know, like we've introduced the concept of recipes, we've given a way of creating recipes. They're built from standard blocks. We did this to kind of enable users to build these things and be able to get out, you know, like hit the road running, so to speak. So, you know, like there's some pretty powerful stuff that's capable, available out of the blocks. And basically, if it doesn't suit your client's use case, you can go and take one of the out of the box recipes, amend it, or even create your own. And ultimately, you know, it's abstracting all this technology and all this science, if you like, and it allows, in a way that allows the end user to really focus on what they're trying to achieve. So when I last presented this, I think I had twice as long. So it's been a bit rushed, and I don't know if we've got time. I hope we've got time for questions. I'm happy to take some.
I think let's just open
Malcolm,
for questions. Yeah.
Yeah, I have just one quick question. So we should allow other people to ask question too. But so this is fascinating that what you showed us about these recipes and so much flexibility to actually like, you know, use it. But we are not always like, you know, when we create all these recipes, we don't know which one will work best, right?
Yeah.
So is there, like, for example, A/B testing, is there any way
Yes.
to, like, you know, compare? Okay, so is that on the widget level or in the recipe level?
It's on the widget level, but the widget contains a recipe, and widgets have variations, and, you know, like you would have one of the variations active at a time. So you could compare like that.
Okay, yeah, that's actually a good thing. Yeah,
that's why we developed the testing capability. Actually, it's not so much driven by traditional A/B testing use cases. It was more from that, being able to test rule sets, different AI algorithms against each other, and so on.
great. Yep. So I will stop here because is anyone else has question? Sagar, you have a question?
Yes, yeah. I think, I mean, I have a question like how this product bundling works here.
You mean how to use it?
Bundling, you know, right? Product bundling, you know, selling
from a sales perspective.
Yeah, perspective. Correct. Yes. A group of products, you know, combined together to sell at a time to increase the sales, right? That is
Sumith, I would be looking to you to answer this, because I don't know a lot about the commercials and packaging.
No, I don't think we do it at our end, isn't it? So this is more of, because it's a headless system. Yeah, so that is a piece that you have to do. What we do is basically recommendation and search capability. Yeah, so you can use the API to say, hey, give me everything that is related to this product, but I don't think you can use this for bundling. Yeah, so that would.
Or was the question more about was it more about pricing, how we would price and bundle these capabilities together?
No, I guess, like, you know, what Sagar is asking is, it's actually bundling, or it's actually kit product when you sell a bunch of product together. But I think, Sagar, that's more of a deterministic rule. Here, this is more of like, personalization and recommendation.
Recommendation
So,
search. Yep. Mhm.
Got it.
so,
Yep.
but you can say like, you have a bundled product or a kit. There are other kit maybe or other single product which are kind of related to this, and recommendation can be made on that.
For that, you can just like, if as a layman's thing, we can actually tag these items when you're importing and exporting, and then you can say, okay, when I'm showing using my headless system, yeah, let's say an app, you are showing the bundle, yeah, and then doing all the calculations yourself. But this, I don't think there's a rule for that. Yeah,
Okay.
haven't seen it, but maybe I'm wrong.
Right.
Good question.
Any other
Vidya.
question?
So as last time, yeah, the docs are here. The sandbox is available. There's a code sandbox sample. If you guys have not tried it, yeah, so you can just go to codesandbox.io and see how the API is called. So it's like 20 lines of code, nothing else in there. Yeah, to play around to get a feel of it. And as I said last time, ping me. I think some of the guys actually got access to the sandbox if they wanted to try it out, the platform themselves. Yeah, ping me on LinkedIn, or now you have Malcolm also. So yeah, you know whom to reach out if you think there is a potential customer or there's a use case that you want to try with what is called platform.
Yeah, if you've got any
Definitely.
questions about my content today, yeah, please reach out. I'm happy to answer questions.
No, thank you so much for like, last time Sumith actually talked about the product as a whole, but this is quite fascinating to look at what is internally going on within the product. This is really interesting and fascinating.
And there's still more to it. Yeah, I was completely blown away by the capability of the platform,
Yeah.
like, and so magically that you don't actually have to do a lot yourself. Yeah, these recipes, these decision engines behind the scenes, and the capability of creating, the widgets and the pages custom to your own requirement. And I think it's in my last slide, like, how do you integrate? Yeah, so JS SDK, headless, and all the 4 different ways of integrating with your current system. So it can live with your current system. So let's say that you are working on a project which is Sitecore Commerce. You can actually make this part of it, and then you don't have to completely, what do you call, migrate. You can it can coexist. If you have a customer who's using Shopify or any other platform, again, it can coexist, and then you can eventually migrate out to use Discover.
Thank you so much. I think we are out of time. Maulik, you have anything to add?
No, I'm good. I'm happy to see this one because one of the thing which I'm seeing, if I'm not mistaken, this would be like more of artificial intelligence and not on a, the search is not on a, what you can say, text based, because if you are searching blue shoes and blue men's shoes, now number of times if it is a text base, it will also show you the women's shoes as well. So first few would be, yeah, it is recommended, and but then again after I've seen that with number of search, yeah, looking forward to this one, how we can integrate quickly. If there is any requirement, we will definitely reach out to you and team.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking our invitation and doing this session. We have recorded and we will share it our YouTube channel. And thanks everyone for joining. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Thanks. Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.